Alright guys, we're back out in the kayak. Today we got one goal in mind: giant halibut. Now if you're a follower of this channel, you've been around for a while, you know that last year, right around the same time actually, I did catch a nice halibut. I think it was 18 or 19 pounds, something like that. But my filming skills were, we'll just say they were subpar. So this year, my goal is to catch one even bigger and film it. I think we're in the right place today to try and make that happen. And I'll just go through the game plan for today. So I'm going to start off trolling this little, it's called a Rapala shadow wrap. And I'm going to start trolling that right off the bat and see if I can find something. And I'll be watching the fish finder as well while I'm doing that, so I can see if there's any bait around. And if there is bait around, then I'll go ahead and try and go and catch some live bait with the sabiki. But first things first, we gotta get out of the harbor and start making the paddle out. Alright guys, we're starting to see a little bit of activity on the fish finder here, so I'm gonna drop down my trolling setup. And all it is I got this pretty heavy rod, 30 pound, or I think it's 40 pound braid to a 3-way swivel, about, I don't know, 15 inches or so to this 6-ounce weight, and then a leader about 3 feet to this Rapala shadow wrap, I think it is. And I could put a flasher on here, which might make the fish, might attract the fish in a little bit better, but I'm going to try it without first. I'm curious to see how much the flasher affects the bite, so I'm going to try it without first. And all we're going to do is keep this as close to the bottom as we can. There shouldn't be any rocks out here, so we don't have to worry about snags. And we'll see if we can find us a halibut. Alright, so no luck on the shadow wrap. I don't know if it's the flasher. Maybe the flasher does make a difference, who knows. But more importantly, I found a few balls of bait here, so I'm going to try and jig up a few live baits. You know, they do call me the live bait king around here, so get back to my roots. Alright guys, I was just jigging for bait and I just hooked something really heavy. And I don't know if you watched my last video, but I did hook a halibut on the sabiki last time. So I'll loosen my drag here in case he takes off. So it is possible that this is a halibut here. And I don't see yet. Yep, it's a halibut. Another small one. But I don't know what it is with me and these sabikis, but I guess I'm just a halibut king on the sabiki. One of these days I'm going to hook a really big one on the sabiki. Alright, there we go. There's our first halibut, again on the sabiki. For some reason, that's happened twice now. I guess it's not a fluke if it happens twice, so I said earlier, one of these days I'm going to hook a big one on the sabiki. So there's the white side, and there's the brown side. And these have to be 22 inches here in California in order to keep. This is going to be too small, but it is our first halibut. We'll toss him back, hope for a bigger one. There he goes. It's like deja vu all over again. Well guys, I don't know what it is with me and the sabiki, but I've hooked something, another something heavy. Got a feeling it's another halibut here. I don't know how heavy the sabiki is. I feel like it's like 10-pound test. So this might take a while. This one feels a little bit bigger than the last one. I'm pretty sure this is a halibut. I'm like 90% positive. I could even see it on the graph here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that's my fish right there. This is a super light line, so even if it isn't that big, I can't horse him that much. but it does feel heavier than the last one. Oh yeah. Hey, that might even be a keeper. So here's one thing with halibut. When you do net these, it tears at the tail and they can get what's called tail rot. There's a lot of articles online about it. So any fish that I'm not for sure gonna keep, I don't like to net, even if it's borderline, just on the chance that it's not gonna make it. I don't like to net it, just to make sure that that tail's gonna stay healthy. Oh, there he goes. Landing him without the net is definitely harder. But you know me, I like to do things the hard way. Oh, came off. Alright, that's even better. Whew! 2 on the sabiki. So really, in my mind, there's like 3 classes of halibut. One is definitely too small, and those are the ones where I'm for sure definitely not gonna net. There's the ones that are borderline, you know, 20 to 24 inches, in which case it's okay to net those, even though I prefer not to if I don't have to. And then there's the big ones, the 26 and above, that for sure are gonna be keeper, and those are the ones you're gonna want to gaff. Because you don't want to gaff anything that you're not going to keep for sure, because obviously, it has that huge hole in it. That's not going to be good for the fish. So, yep, 3 classes of halibut. That last one, that one was probably borderline. It was actually, I think it was pretty close to 22 inches. It might have been maybe 20 to 22. So I probably could have netted it, but it's better in my mind, to keep the fish healthy and make sure it's going to stay healthy. So I'd rather lose a 22 incher that's a keeper and make sure that it's going to be healthy, rather than net it, mess up the tail, and then have to throw it back anyway. So we did get 1 live bait, and I'm going to put that down in about a minute here if I don't get anything else on the sabiki. Alright guys, time for the live bait setup. If you watched my last halibut video, it's the same exact thing. It's just a slider with, I think this is a 4-ounce teardrop sinker to about a 3-4 foot leader, and then our live bait rig. And all we're gonna have rigged up on here is this live herring that we just jigged up. One thing you want to do when you're handling the bait is you want to make sure your hands are nice and wet, because you don't want to be rubbing off the scales on the bait. That'll kill it faster. Obviously, the more lively your bait, the better chance it is for a halibut to come eat it. So let's drop this down and see if we can get another halibut. So all you want to do is drop it down to the bottom, bring it up a foot or 2, just so that the sinker's not necessarily dragging on the bottom. And let that live bait just drift behind that sinker. And ideally, halibut will see that, come up and chomp it. Oh, fish on. So I went back to trolling that shadow wrap, the Rapala lure. Looks like we got a fish here. Right as the airplanes are going over. Perfect timing. Oh, it's a little halibut, another little halibut. Number 3 for the day. And so this one was without the flasher. Just a little guy. There he is there. Oh. Did not like that. Alright, dude. Oh, came off. There's that lure there, the little shadow wrap. Okay. Alright, there he is, another little guy there. Similar size to that first one we got on the Sabiki. A little bit smaller than the second one. But, some action. This is another one of those that's definitely too small, so I don't want to net this guy. So, we'll get him back. And keep going. Yep, fish on. Fish on, boys. Where is he? No, still a small guy. Sometimes they're hooked funny and then they don't they come up, you know, like a pancake. Oh, came off. All right, this is number 4. Feels like a small one, I think. Yeah, another small guy here. He's actually... Is he even hooked? Oh my god. That is insane. I have never seen anything like that. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Look, my bait's down here. It's not even touched. But check this out. He ate this sinker. And the line went through his gill plate. He literally, yeah, he ate the sinker. And the only reason, he's not even hooked. My hook is all the way over here. Here's my hook with the bait. Still intact, still fine. But he ate the sinker. And it went through the gill plate. There's the only reason why he's still on there. That is one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen. He's bleeding a little bit because his line's rubbing against his gills. I'm going to see if I can get it out. Minimal damage. Not really sure what to do here. Oh, I know. I'll take the sinker off. Sinker's off. Here, so we don't lose it. Literally not even hooked. It'll just come right out there. Trying to minimize the damage to the gills. Unfortunately, it's right next to the... There it goes. There it is. Not even hooked. Good thing is these fish are pretty hardy, so he is bleeding a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. 5th fish of the day. Definitely the craziest one yet. Good release on him. Oh, there he goes. You will see something new every time you go fishing. Right. This is the lure that caught that fish. Literally a 4-ounce piece of lead. No hook. Straight up. Oh god. Good thing is my bait's still perfectly good, so we'll drop it back down. Alright. Oh! This feels like a good one. Some good weight on this one. Let's see. Well, this guy's hooked the traditional way, not on the... Ooh, I don't know. This one's gonna be close. He might be a keeper. He's hooked pretty good, so I think we'll be able to bring him in. No net. There he goes. So one thing about halibut fishing in this area is it really is dependent on the tides. And I don't have a lot of experience on it, but from everything I've read, when the tide is not moving, so like right at high tide, right at low tide, are the best fishing times. And really that's come true today because low tide was at about 9:30. And as you saw, I just got that one on the sinker and it's right at about 9:30 right now. So best fishing time supposedly is now. So let's see if we can get this fish in, and we'll give it a measure, see if it makes the cut. You know, I said I don't like netting fish that are borderline, but I'm gonna do it on this one anyway. Try my best to keep it intact. And that's one reason why you don't want to net halibut that are small, is when they get in the net, they freak out like that, and that's when their tail gets all messed up. But I think this is a keeper. We're gonna measure it to see. There we go. It's our biggest one of the day. That's for sure. All right, this is gonna be a little tricky. So one person commented on my previous video saying measure with the mouth closed, which is true. You do want to measure with the mouth closed. I think this guy's going to be a little bit short, actually, unfortunately. So right at, it's pretty close. It's about 21.5, but I don't like to keep fish that are that close, just in case you don't want to get a hefty fine. We did keep the tail pretty well intact there. Tried not to keep him in the net for too long. So I'm gonna try and do some surgery and get this hook out. And this guy should be just fine. And then hopefully, there it goes, comes right out. Perfect. That guy's gonna be just fine now. Do some careful surgery. Let's get a good release on him. Biggest one of the day, number 5, still short by about an inch or half an inch or so. But we're getting closer. Give him a second to get his bearings straight. There he goes. Right back to the bottom. Alright guys, it's going to wrap it up for me today. I filmed my outro out on the water, but I can almost guarantee that was blown out, so I'm going to do it again in here. 5 halibut today. We got 2 on the Rapala shad wrap, which I'll leave linked in the description below if you want to check that out. 2 on the Sabiki, one of which was pretty close to legal. And then 1, you know, I think we caught 6 halibut. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we caught 6. So anyway, 2 on the Rapala, 2 on the Sabiki, 1 on the live herring that we caught, and then 1, the craziest one of them all that I almost forgot, where the fish ate the sinker and it just got caught in the gill because the sinker went through his gill plate. Crazy fish catch there. I've never seen anything like it in all my years of fishing, any kind of fish. Something you wouldn't believe if you didn't see it yourself, so you should be glad you tuned in to see that one. One final reminder to enter the giveaway in a couple videos ago. I'm giving away a tournament entry to the More Than Fishing tournament coming up in July. All you have to do is comment on that video, so make sure you check that out. Still have a couple days to enter. I'll be announcing the winner in my next video, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for staying to the end of the video. Hopefully we can get that keeper next time, and we'll be ready. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.